Welcome to the Omloop at Nieuwsblad, the first race of the Flanders Cup in Season 5, the first of the Cobble Classics as well. Just under 45 kilometers to ride, and there's 3 leaders out in front. This is Marcel Lefay of Once, Tobias Omland of Hellenic Post, and Jelena Topkalidze of T1. They've been away since around 102 kilometers to ride, and there was another breakaway early in the race, but they were chased down rather cruelly by the peloton. NL, Giorgio, and Martini have done all of the chasing, and they've kept the pace very high today. There's 2 big obstacles in the Omloop, the Muur de Grammont and the Bosberg. Those are the last 2 cobbled hills, and we should see the big favorites try and launch their attacks then. In the meantime, it seems the teams in the peloton just trying to keep things under control. We're onto a small hill known as the Barons Race. And you see these 3 breakaways, they're looking rather tired, and the peloton ought to get up to them pretty shortly. This is Frank Chausson of the NL team. A little French sprinter, a bit quiet last season, but he's a good teammate, and made it back in the VeloTour for this season riding for NL. Things coming back together, Chausson has done his job, he's brought the breakaway back. A peloton of around 86 riders still together, so that's most of the main field, just a handful of riders being tailed off. And now Caterina Beltran comes to the front. She rides for the Dyson team, and that is a team in the orange and black jerseys there. They are all about the one-day races. They have nothing for the stage races. In fact, Caterina Beltran, likely their best climber, which isn't saying much, no offense to Beltran. So their aim to place as many riders in the top 10 of as many of these classics as they can. An interesting MO, and we'll see how far it gets them this season. In the meantime, the pace has accelerated on one of these little cobble climbs. The peloton's starting to break up, and this is Martini, the team in the blue and white jerseys. They are pushing the pace. Hellenic Post has been caught out trying to get back on terms. Few Once and Norma riders there as well. And with 30Ks to go, the race has accelerated, approaching the 10 Bossa next, just a tiny little hill there. This is Philip Helminger of the Martini team, a newcomer to the VeloTour, a very talented time trialist from Luxembourg. Peugeot continuing to show riders at the front of the main field. Very important in these types of races to have your riders near the front. You never know when the peloton could split up, and you always want to maintain good position. And you can see at the bottom showing the different groups on the road. Riders getting tailed off as the peloton splits and comes back together, and these riders behind here, they just have to chase back on. Spend a lot of energy when you're doing that. And now is the time for the favorites to make their presence felt in the first 20 or so riders. And there is an attack, Sadek Farukmanesh, former rider from Iran. He emigrated to Algeria in the off-season, representing a new nationality, and he has just launched an attack, and that is a surprise because he is definitely not a contender to win the race. So he's trying to make some kind of move here, maybe a setup for a teammate or simply taking his chance. But Hellenic Post, not having any of that. This is Tony Giorgio, a very strong rider on the flat roads, and we're coming to the bottom of the Muur de Grammont. Hellenic Post and Peugeot, with 4 riders there, they are in complete control of this main field. Giorgio leads them on. A very steep cobble climb. You see the flags of Flanders on the side of the road here. And this tempo set by Giorgio, along with the narrow roads, not letting anyone launch their big attacks. Here comes Beltran of Dyson. She will lead them over the top of this little climb. And we'll see if the field breaks up here at the bottom of the Muur de Grammont. The Bosberg just 2 kilometers away, and you see what's happened now? The field has split into pieces, and if you're not at the front now, you're certainly not going to win the race. So 15 riders still there. There's Omland trying to hang on, he was in the breakaway, and an attack now by Jonathan Guevara of the Dyson team. And this group of 6 has got away, the Galati, Finkelstein, Petruskevicius, Lachlan Baines. I think that's Kasper Bosmans of NL. And this is the final big obstacle of the day. Here is the Bosberg, Guevara, using a lot of energy, trying to attack over the top of the climb. And it looks like Bernard has brought the main field back. So 20 riders are still here with 12 or so kilometers to ride. More attacks flying off the front. I think that's Richard Finkelstein of Quebec. A very combative and eccentric rider on that team, a newcomer to the VeloTour, but he has been brought back. And NL have 3 riders in this group. They're just trying to keep things under control. I think Casper Bosman's still there for NL. He's a very good sprinter. Heinrich Kromer is still there for Hellenic Post, and Finkelstein knows that. He's trying to get rid of the sprinters. Because if you take Kromer and Bosmans to the line, you're not going to win. Now, does anyone else in this group have an attack in them, or will Hellenic Post and NL duke it out with their sprinters? The next group on the road has 40 or so riders, but they're almost 2 minutes down. They are not going to come back, and one of these 16 is going to win the race. There's the 5Ks to go banner. You see NL and Hellenic Post are working together. Their best chance to win is with their sprinters, and a third time, Finkelstein launches an attack, and once again, NL chases him down. This is Erland's Berzens, a big tractor on the flats, good on the cobbles, and you see him setting a very high tempo to deter these attacks. And as long as he sits on the front like this, no one, including Finkelstein, is going to get away. But a 4th attempt by Finkelstein, and it seems once again that attack going nowhere. Here's the sprint by Heinrich Kromer. He launches from a long way out. Over 1K to go, but he's charging towards the line, and nobody's going to catch him. The big German takes the win in the Omloop at Nieuwsblad, and that's Casper Bosmans there in 2nd place for NL. And I think Bosmans was caught by surprise there. He was not expecting Kromer to go from such a long way out. 3rd is Chitesh Balajit from Dyson. Didn't mention his name all day, but he's a fast finisher and a great result for that team. Petruskavicius won this race last season. He finished 4th this time, and Eloisa Donna 5th for Dyson. That's her first top 5 in a VeloTour Classic. You see the main field coming through now to clean up the minor placings, which do matter, especially now with those cup standings in place to score those bonus points. Well, Hellenic Post and NL, an absolute masterclass by those two teams, controlling the race, having numbers at the end to keep things under control for their sprinters. But in the end, Hellenic Post got the better end of it, winning the race with Heinrich Kromer. So now let's look at the complete results for the Omloop at Nieuwsblad. The first 11 riders all finished together in that final selection. Heinrich Kromer of Hellenic Post takes the win, Casper Bosmans of NL in 2nd place, Chitesh Balajit of Dyson 3rd, Victor Petruskavicius 4th for Giorgio, Eloisa Donna 5th for Dyson, Jackson Miller, a newcomer to the scene, 6th place for Norma, Jonathan Guevara, another newcomer, 7th for Dyson, Luigi Belle 8th, Lachlan Baines 9th, and Zubeda Hailu 10th for Norma. And your first Flanders Cup standings, it's Dyson in 1st place, placing many riders up there in the top 10. NL a close 2nd, Norma is 3rd, then Hellenic Post 4th, and Giorgio a distant 5th place. But there's 5 races in each of these cups, so plenty of time to turn the tables and see one of these teams charge up the standings. T1 once again striking out. The 2nd race in a row they've scored no points. That's going to be a big problem if they want to avoid a last place finish. And now we'll take a look at the updated leaderboard following the Omloop at Nieuwsblad. NL moving up into 1st place, leading by just over 200 points from Giorgio. Hellenic Post comes up to 3rd place, and Dyson coming up into 4th. Martini is 5th, and Norma and Olse down into 7th. Not known for their prowess in the Cabo Classics, and we'll see if that becomes a problem going forward. So on the board for victories goes Hellenic Post, and they'll try again in Strada Bianca. That's our next race, one of the most entertaining races of the season. We got a real classic last year with Samuel Udon's magnificent performance, and we'll see if we get a repeat of that this time around. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time in Tuscany for Strada Bianca.